Does your dog smell like tortilla chips? Are they licking their paws? Does your dog have orange tinge around its nail? Is it showing hot spots? Do they have ringworm? Is their belly distended? Are they having runny stools? Have you seen parasites in the stool? In this video, I'm going to show you how I naturally deworm and detox my dogs from yeast simultaneously. Without further ado, let's get to it. So first off, guys, we're going to be adding potatoes. Believe it or not, potatoes have an antifungal property, as well as sweet potatoes. We're going to go ahead and add them in there after we wash them. And these are going to be the only things we're actually going to cook. You cannot feed raw potatoes to dogs. It actually becomes toxic if you did. So we're just going to add potatoes into this, add the sweet potatoes. We're going to go ahead and put it in the Instapot. And this way, we'll just get it right out the way. Now, it's really important you watch this all the way through, as not all the ingredients are going to be cooked. We're going to go ahead and put it on the Instapot for 35 minutes. We're going to hit meat stew, and we're going to go into ginger. Ginger is actually very good for the digestive tract of dogs. Not only is it going to help the absorption, but it's also going to soothe the stomach and also the lining of the intestines. Now, the other fact about ginger is that ginger is antifungal. Now, you see me cutting it into nickel-sized slices. We're going to go ahead and stack them up, and then we're going to go ahead and chop them, and we're going to go ahead and mince them. My dogs will eat ginger, but it must be minced and it must be dispersed in the soup. And yes, soup. I call this the nuclear soup. You'll see why here in a moment. Now, as soon as we got the ginger minced, we'll go ahead and jump into garlic. You know, garlic is an antiviral, anti-parasitic, antibacterial. It's also antifungal. If you notice, this is going to be the trend in all the foods we're going to be putting in this. Now, after taking off the garlic shell, then we're going to go ahead and crush the garlic, and we're going to go ahead and mince it. You need to know that if you're going to be feeding raw garlic to your dogs, you need to let it sit for at least 15 minutes before you do, so that allicin, which is not good for dogs, can actually react to oxygen and become an allicin, which can actually be given to dogs. Now, garlic is also going to put the right bacteria back in the gut. It's going to help balance your dog. Next up, we're going to go ahead and give 2 handfuls of kale. Whenever I get a handful, it's really a cup and a half worth, so you're looking at 3 cups of kale. Kale is a cruciferous vegetable. This is going to help in the detox process of yeast. Next up, when you know it, we're actually giving okra. Yes, and if you notice, everything we're giving is completely raw. We're going to be adding it to the soup and not cooking in it, for the exception of potatoes and sweet potatoes. As you well know, okra is also a food that has properties that are antifungal. Once the potato and sweet potatoes are cooked, we're going to go ahead and add all these ingredients we've already chopped up. Now, some of you may be asking, why is it we're giving them this raw rather than cooked? And that's just because the potency in the raw ingredients is a lot more powerful and more abundant than when you cook it. Once added, we're going to go ahead and mix, and you're going to see that this is going to be something we're going to do repetitious throughout. Next up, we're going to be adding turmeric. Not only is it an anti-inflammatory and good for your dogs all around, it also has antifungal properties. We're going to go ahead and give 2 spoonfuls. If I was preparing this for one particular dog, then it would be half of 1 teaspoon. Next up, we have organic cold pressed coconut oil. We're going to give 2 good spoonfuls. Again, that's for this recipe. If I was giving this to just one dog, you'd probably be giving them no more than about half a teaspoon. We're going to go ahead and mix this coconut oil until it's completely molten. If you're seeing white, you still need to continue stirring. Next up, we're going with Old Faithful apple cider vinegar. We're going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup to this recipe. If I was giving it to just one dog, I'd probably be giving them a top's worth in the water, or just half of a top's worth in their food. After we go ahead and mix, we're going to go ahead and add pumpkin seeds. Now, pumpkin seeds are excellent dewormer, completely natural. What it does is it paralyzes the parasite inside of the intestine, and as the bowel's making its way through, it pretty much pushes everything out. Next up, we'll be giving our dogs papaya along with papaya seeds. I recommend you do your research on this, as papaya seeds has trace amounts of cyanide. Don't ask me for dosage. Make sure to do your research on this. We're just going to go ahead and add 2 good slices of papaya into this soup, and then we're going to stir it to the point where these seeds are pretty much going to disseminate everywhere. Next up, we're going to crack 4 eggs and throw them in there. Now, eggs are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and you guessed it, omega-3 fatty acids have antifungal properties. Now, once done mixing, we're going to go ahead and add it in the bucket, and we're going to add some ice cubes in order to cool it off a little bit. And this next ingredient, food grade diatomaceous earth, is nothing more than a powder we actually add to chicken and we mix. When you put this under a microscope, it actually shows itself to be crystals, and it's pure death to any parasite in the digestive tract. Now, as you can see, we do put a good amount on the chicken. If you want to know exact amounts, I recommend you go online, do your research on dosage. It doesn't take much for this stuff to actually work. As you can see, our girl Roxy actually loves this stuff. Aruba goes after the chicken first. You're going to see some dogs will go after the chicken and some actually after the nuclear soup. Guys, make sure to watch this video all the way through. You not only have to feed your dog a particular way in order to clear the yeast from their body, there's something else in particular you must do on a monthly basis. And we'll give you that information at the very end. And yes, what you're seeing here is a pup eating papaya. Yes, papaya the fruit. Here you have Ali just loving the living heck off of the nuclear soup. She eats papayas and all. I mean, no ifs and ands or buts about it. Daisy Duke likes to go with the chicken first, as you can see her here, but eventually she'll get over to the soup. Now, Mocha is definitely going after the chicken first, and that's fine. Once she's done with the chicken, she'll make her way over to the soup. And as you can see in the other cages, they're just munching away. On the cage opposite to her, who hasn't been fed yet, is our girl Cadabra. This is her way of letting me know, hey, I'm hungry, Dad, come feed me. And she definitely goes after the chicken first as well. Next up, we got Macho doing the same thing, just letting me know. And he's a little bit more polite. He actually waits before he jumps on the chicken for me to give him permission. But once he has permission, much like my boy 305, they're on it. And just because they're eating the chicken first and the soup later, doesn't mean they don't like the soup. It's just natural for them to actually go after the meat and the bones first. So guys, real quick, let me do a magic trick. Let me talk to you about New Vet. Yeah, you see the see-through due to the green screen? Yeah, you see New Vet is a multivitamin, and it's the only multivitamin we use. We potentiate it with joint support, New Joint DS. DS stands for double strength. If you have a dog that's actually showing east-west, or is having orthopedic issues that the parents didn't have, because you're just feeding kibble, maybe it's time for you to consider a supplement like New Vet and New Joint DS, not only to clear orthopedic issues, but to give your dog overall health. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put our ordering code up here. Cannot buy this stuff in stores, and you need an ordering code to be able to order. One other thing, if you do auto renewal with New Vet and New Joint DS, we're gonna go ahead and give you an additional 13% off. That's gonna cover your shipping. Now guys, remember I said there was one last thing that you must do aside from feeding in order to clear yeast. Just go ahead and click on either one of these two videos. They're going to show you particular baths that you got to give your dogs in order to clear this once and for all. Guys, it's been Raul from the Q, catching you on the next one.